Now it's better. You're like the way your face was frozen, it kind of looked like a really shitty cartoon, but and now it looks like it's there again. What the hell? What is that? No, that's your brick
Just
wall is
awkward
weird.
staring.
No, like
Yeah.
your brick wall looked weird. It looked like there was like
Oh my gosh, is the sun
Welcome back, Mighty Vandals and Tubbs at the Club, your University of Idaho affiliate on the Big Sky Podcast Network. I'm your host, Ryan Marceau, joined today by co-host and producer redacted, Marten Heemstra. Marten, how's it going, dude?
It's going good. It's a Wednesday night in Moscow, just after the signing, a couple hours, like 5 hours after the signing day event, and I'm excited to talk football and a little basketball.
So there's some weird rhythmic movement to your right arm, Marten, and I just want to remind you that Idaho had Idaho off the Jacks last week, and AU was not on the menu today. Oh, I see. Never mind. That's why you're producer redacted, man. Dallas again, letting us all down, following Nickelback around the country. He may have a cameo later, but today, hey, today's look. It's always a good day to talk Vandal sports, but today is a very good day because we've got news across football, men's basketball, and women's basketball. So pretty packed show. We are not going to spend time talking about Bobby Hauck retiring and the Montana news on who they've tabbed as their head coach. We'll talk about that on a different episode, but it's an Idaho show, guys. We are more concerned with who's coming in to Moscow than who's coming out of Missoula. So look, you guys know we're brought to you by Hughes River Expedition Around the Bar. But the big news today, Marten, is February 4th, National Signing Day. Thomas Ford and the rest of the coaching staff well, I mean, there's an event in Moscow that you went to hear some direct observations about some of the new signees and recruits coming in. There's an event that I should be at tomorrow, February 5th, in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. That's at 5:30 p.m. at the Coeur d'Alene Resort. If you're listening live and you live in Coeur d'Alene or around Coeur d'Alene, head over. I'll see you there. But Marten, Brad Smith, Idaho, wants to know what is the Nickelback story, and the story is that Dallas Hammer likes Nickelback more than you. Brad Smith, Idaho, he
Yeah,
likes
and
Nickelback. And I'm not talking
I
about
was a top
music tape.
500.
I'm talking about you, the person, in the same way that Dallas likes Nickelback more than both me and Marten, the people, we're not talking about music taste, but Marten, you were saying.
Can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay, good. Yeah, Dallas just is big Nickelback fan. I mean, he has to somehow beat 25,000 minutes a year on on the year of listening to Nickelback, and so he's doing that right now. He's got to break that. I think he's going for 50,000 this year.
And he'll probably get it. But back to the kind of the point of today's show, man. Marten, you were our man on the ground, our ears in the field for intel on new signees. So the wheel's officially yours, man.
Oh boy. So of course, you're gonna hear me complain. I should probably put the stuff up now. So for those watching on YouTube right now, I believe they have Brian. Do you have the numbers on how many they've signed total off the rip, producing in public here?
You know what? We'll get to that number. Yeah, I got to look that up elsewhere. 19 high schoolers signed, and then one junior college transfer. That's a class breakdown that's referenced on December 3rd. You know what? Let's get to the numbers on transfers.
I want to say it's in like mid 25. It's like 25, 30, if something like that. I can't remember the exact number, but who cares? We're going to talk about who's here. We talked about everybody this one. First, it's going to be if you want to follow along, it is I'm going to be Brian and I are going to be going off of the we're going to be going alphabetical off the roster on the awesome media person for football has put up on their page. Make sure to keep watching it if you haven't checked it out already. First off is Brian. I'm just going to start ripping the roster now. Jerry Allen out of Spokane. Oh gosh, I'm already forgetting height statistics, so I'm going to be reading off a roster like some other people. 6'2" guy 6'2" out of Jerry Rogers High School in Spokane. Almost said Coeur d'Alene. I believe same high school as Aaron Kinsey. Great to get another local guy, kind of a big DB, not bigger DB than what a bigger DB. So hopefully he can grow into that frame, maybe even play right away. Hopefully not have to play some young people so early, but just another good local DB that Idaho has gotten in the past. Another local kid Idaho has gotten.
Yeah, so before we jump further, I just also want to lay the groundwork. Marten's got clips going on if you're watching live or if you're watching later on YouTube. There's a ton of snaps on the defensive side of the ball that are up for grabs right now. There's a ton of snaps at the skill positions, like pass catchers, wide receiver, tight end, and in the running back room as well. We learned our lesson last year about crowning some guys a little bit too early, but at this point, what I'm looking at is just when we head into spring football, I want to know who I'm watching and who might be popping in different position groups. So that's really where my head is at for this, Marten. Deep, that's a room that you'll talk about, and you'll talk about more signees in a second. But yeah, there is one brain dead group that Idaho needs to improve. It's defensive backs.
Oh yeah, and kind of just if you're watching it on YouTube, right? Kind of add on, just kind of maybe put a bow tie onto the Jerry here. A lot of his he's playing there. A lot of the tapes, obviously, because he played both ways. Is he's playing offense, defense, running back, wide receiver, DB, and a lot everywhere over the field, so he can play anywhere. And it'll be interesting to see where he plays under, if it's under is it Treston Dakut or where he plays for him, and also under Lee Stalker's defense. Next up, there is I'm just gonna be honest here. Like I said, we're not gonna really annoy stuff. Just kind of going through people. is, oh gosh, I want to say it's Jamarian Augustus. Brian,
Yeah,
am I?
yeah, Jamarian Augustus
Jamarian,
transfer
yeah,
from perennial playoff team contender Northern Iowa.
yeah. And you'll hear about his brother here in a second as well. He played at, I remember him, I believe he didn't play too much at UNI. I believe he did. I mean, because we're producing in public here. A uh, big guy, 6'3", 240, kind of a guy that has FCS playoff, not FCS playoff, FCS level experience. So hopefully, not going to anoint, but just kind of hopefully has some experience to where you don't have to rely so much on certain people. Can kind of have maybe come in and play right away a little bit, maybe. And that kind of just lump it into kind of 2-for-1. His brother Javion Augustus, 6'4", 240 out of by way of Coastal Carolina. Played on the teal turf. Uh, he did not play in 2025 from looking at from reading his roster, and also just from what the coaches said. He had an injury last year. Uh, he didn't say what it was, but obviously it's something big if he didn't play, didn't appear in a game. Was looking for a chance to play, and just overall looking kind of just was should be another guy, another DN to kind of come in and play.
Yeah, neither of the Augustus brothers accrued stats in 2025. So, I mean, these are guys who look. I mean, their talent was respected enough to be at Javon was like you said, Sun Belt, Coastal Carolina. His brother came like reference from UNI after transferring up from North Alabama. But I mean, hey, these guys are fingers crossed, guys. Realistically, we're looking at are they going to be playing around springtime and into fall camp? We know that the edge and D line are again another area that it's pretty close to a tabula rasa for Idaho. And honestly, most of the defensive side of the ball that is what we're looking at is not that different than what Montana had in the 2025 season of essentially all new guys coming in. Plus, we have a new DC, so very much wait and see. But happy to have both the brothers come to the program. Idaho's been at least if you're a vandal like us who follows this stuff and cares about this stuff, Idaho has been pretty successful bringing brothers into the program and getting at least one of the dudes to contribute pretty well. So fingers crossed we can go at least 1 for 2 with the Augustus brothers, 2 for 2, a little better.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I don't know I don't know the whole. Nothing kind of just to mention. I don't know what years they are. It looks like they didn't play in 2025, so maybe they get a medical red shirt. Who knows what year they are with this view of things right now. Up next is wide receiver Tristan Baker out of, oh gosh, is it Lakes? I get my orange and blue and orange schools mixed up. It is Lakes High School out in Western Washington, just out in the Seattle suburbs. Normally, Seattle Lakes is a good school. I believe there's 2 from that school, so hopefully we're going to get to the other one here in a little bit. Tristan, wide receiver, they mentioned him. Coaches mentioned him. He kind of maybe has a potential to play right away, but we'll talk about some other JUCOs and other players from wide receivers that might play as well. But dude's athletic. They mentioned he had other offers to play at other positions. I believe running back was the other one. Coaches had him. Coaches said he got offers to play at, but he obviously chose Idaho because of the relationships he built with Coach Ford and the staff there, and just wanted to come play here at Idaho and get the opportunity to play.
And yeah, look, we know that playmakers are something the Vandals need. So we'll see we have a good amount of pass catchers we're going to be talking about. And there's a ton of snaps for them to be competing for. I mean, we know that Emerson Cortez Menjivar, who was not really that productive after the second half of the season, we know he's departed. We know that it was a regular comment in post games throughout 2025. Thomas Ford talking about receivers just not getting open, which is to say young guys, if they are ready to play, are absolutely going to have a chance to play at Idaho. So let's keep on going, man.
I already forgot. Okay. Up next is one of the JUCO running backs that I mentioned. Thank you, Ross Warren, for posting that to have the official numbers here for helping us out. Do appreciate it. Next up is one of the 2 JUCO running backs that Idaho signed, DeMonte Bias at El Camino Community College. Hopefully I can play this ad and I'll have to kind of just talk about this as well. From his last time when they were playing his highlights on at the signing day event, this was one of the other. You'll see. We'll talk about the other one here in a little bit, but DeMonte looks like one of those guys that I hope we see play. No, play. I hope to see get some good snaps. He looks good. He had 1,000 yards rushing, and I want to say just under 400 yards receiving. So pretty mixed use back. Jason, I'm not going to full screen it right now because I don't want you to get free. I don't want this tech company to get free ad space.
Yeah, and like hey Ross Warren said, 35 total new signees, 22 high school, 13 transfers. But of the high school guys, that includes 2 who are going on missions. So they signed at Idaho. We're not going to see them for a couple years. Look, the running back room, we already know. We'll talk about Golston later, where he's sort of been the guy who it seems the coaching staff believes is going to have an immediate role. But I also don't think Ford and co are going to Thomas Ford's been open forever about wanting to be a team that can run the ball. Ian Shoemaker has been open forever about his offenses, essentially wherever he's been, have been balanced, running around 50-ish% of the time. We want guys healthy in January, which means we're going to see multiple running backs, even whether guys get hurt or not. That's just going to be a reality for Idaho football. And we also know that pass catching running back, that's something Idaho needs. That's something Shoemaker has used in the past, especially his time at Eastern. So yeah, Bias is a guy who, he's a little bit older. One of those guys who you bring in a JUCO guy or like an FBS transfer who's a little bit older. You're wanting that guy to be competing for starting spots absolutely right away. So Bias is one guy. Ross Warren saying Coach Enley really talked Ferrari, seemed like he's the early favorite to be the feature back. We'll hear about that in a moment. But of the 35 new signees, we are absolutely going to see some of these guys who, as starters, are getting starter level reps in the upcoming season. Running back room for sure is a place we've seen guys come in and be instant impact players right away,
like a Tony Trees or
yep. So keep on going, dude.
Yeah. Next one next one is going down the roster. Okay, this is getting loud. We're gonna give them free ad space. Pay us T-Mobile. There's a Damon Blanchard, another is a 6'3" DB out of, I believe it's El Camino. I already forgot the school. Another JUCO out of California. It was Antelope Community College, I believe. Another kind of JUCO cornerback. You're gonna kind of notice a team here. A lot of the JUCOs are on the DB side. I believe Coach said he played at UTEP for a year. No, I'm thinking of someone else, but he did kind of play has played at the JUCO level, and now at Idaho. Just another guy that can kind of play both. I believe both deep cornerback and safety, but I believe Jason, if I want to kind of Jason and Ross, I know I bet you're both here today. But just kind of what they believe they also said is he can play both, but didn't really say which one, but just going to kind of get him hopefully get him in. He is here now and just kind of get him, see where he's going to play. The dude is making plays on his tape, as we're seeing on the team, and also what they talked about as well. But now I'm getting them mixed up, but just another good solid playmaker. They have a good ball hawk, say DB.
Yeah, man. We've got snaps and also getting a little bit better size in the DB room is nothing but good news. Keep it going.
Yeah. Next up is another. Guys, I'm sorry. I wish this thing's going to be a little pain in the rear because
just ignore it. Just ignore it, man. Just keep going.
Yeah. It's another kind of talk about this while it's loading. Another one is a Giovanni Burks out of gosh, I already forgot the school. Sorry, Giovanni. Out of Roosevelt High School in Oregon. Another one, I believe, one of the top DBs linebackers in the state. He was one of the top recruit in Oregon. Coaches did say, I believe it was he got offensive MVP for his league. As it says here, defensive player of the year and offensive player of the year at his school. And he's this tape right now. He's playing. Oops, I'll blow that up. He's playing running back here. Like Giovanni is a dude. His tape stood out. Yes, he's coming in to play linebacker, but man, the kid can is an athlete, can just flying around the field and just can play anywhere. I don't know where to expect to play him, but
He's
I'm
listed as a
excited to get a dude like
linebacker.
him.
On
Yeah.
the official roster, he's listed as a linebacker, so I'm gonna default to that, which is again another every single position group, essentially every single position is open for someone to contribute to. We know that the big sky will not be one starting exclusively freshmen, but there you can absolutely expect freshmen can contribute or can play at starter level. I mean, again, something we've seen here in previous years multiple times, talking Jackson Eck, talking guys like X-Ray Alexander, Giovanni Burks. I mean, if you're just the fact of being all like the league MVP at a big high school in Portland on both sides of the ball, I hear that. I hear potential playmaker.
Oh yeah. And this dude, like, as you're watching this tape now, this kid is just, it is high school tape, so it is a little slow, but like the kid is flying past the linemen, just beating people up for like a lot for TFLs. Next one up is Eson Daniels, DB transfer out of Bellevue, Washington, by way of Nick Webber State University. His dad, I believe it's Damon, was a running back in the late '80s, early '90s from played here at Idaho. So there is another Vandal legacy for Idaho here. Obviously knows the Big Sky, knows has played at this level before, so should hopefully be able to come in, plug and play. But another one that I've kind of heard was kind of saying he could need some coaching, and hopefully with the right DB can be an upper good to a good contributor for Idaho at defense this year with a lot of snaps up for grabs.
Yeah, I mean, he forced and recovered a fumble in 2025, picked off 2 passes. You talked about the legacy. He's from Bellevue, Washington. There's a lot of Pacific Northwest recruits who we've already talked about, where that relationship that Thomas Ford has built, and also with his brother Tracy through FSB, that is absolutely meaningful in some of the guys that Idaho's bringing in. And again, Ishan was playing at Weber State. We know Weber State has recently fallen on hard times, but he was signed by Coach Mickey Menzel before things completely fell apart there. So I don't know, man. I'm trying not to say the same thing every single time about these guys, but I just care about being familiar with who I'm watching during spring ball and during fall camp to see who's going to be playing. Andy, aka at 208 Fish, saying, "I remember his dad being here. I'm old." Jason Mayer passed the Centrum Silver. Oh man. But anyway, Martin, that's just how it goes, man. Keep going.
Yeah. Next one is Britton DeWitt. I believe he is he's the one that was signed this class that is going to be going on his mission for 2 years. So probably not going to see him till 2028, 2027, I believe. I might have missed that on the thing, but at least he's not going to be here this year. Quarterback, 6'2", a little bit stronger of an arm, I believe, compared to Surprise / Blitz McCarty. Dude can he was making the throw, in his tape, he was making throws, making everything you'd want. Not a whole lot to add for him.
And especially if he's not going to be here for a couple of years. Just remember the name, maybe. That's it.
Yeah. I think I should mention he is a right-handed quarterback that is different than what we'll see in the next couple bins. Next quarterback they signed. Next one is Daryl Gibson, Brian.
Yeah, Daryl Gibson.
Linebacker from Lacey, Washington, by way of University of Cincinnati, and Idaho State. Came in, played for Idaho. I don't believe he played much or at all at Cincinnati, but at Idaho State he played. As a freshman, he played in all 12 games and had some tackles.
Yeah, interesting story. He was a contributor at Idaho State as a freshman, and a true freshman, by the way. Then that was the year Idaho State fired Josh Runda, DC, at the end of the season, um, after Idaho also murdered ISU. But uh, Daryl Gibson left with Josh Runda, went to Cincinnati, and as Dallas might say, he has Runda back to the state of Idaho. So what is Idaho State's loss is eventually Idaho's gain. If you're a dude who's able to be a starter in the Big Sky as a freshman, pick up 21 tackles as a true freshman, that's a guy who, if he can do that at Idaho State as a freshman, I bet he can do something at Idaho as a sophomore.
Yeah. Moving on now. The big one that everybody's probably most excited about, Kenny Golson. He coaches at the sign day show, which I'm sure at a sign day event tomorrow. This dude probably is a beast. Like, I don't mean to hype up players, but man, I try not to let myself buy into the hype this early. 'Cause the hype is he's a baller, and he's going to be making plays. Like he playing offense, kick return some stuff as well. Yeah, he looked so good he looked so good, and I'm excited to see him in a Vandal uniform this fall.
Yeah, I mean, he is right now, if the season started today, he'd be essentially tied for biggest running back in the room, 6 foot, 216 pounds as a true freshman. So yeah, he's a highly rated recruit. I know part of the reason he came to Idaho is because Idaho wants him as a running back, and that's what Golston wants to be. But I mean, I would be floored if we're not going to have Golston or the other guy that we're talking about in a little bit as our kind of bell cow backs for the season. And I also just wouldn't be shocked, just like you, Martin, trying to not get ahead of ourselves. But there does seem to be some talent in the running back room that, I mean, look, Idaho just struggled with health in the running back room last year, having a couple guys who are bigger, and pairing some freshmen with guys who have JUCO level experience seems like the right call. I mean, the big deal too. Ross Warren in the comment section saying having the experienced O line back is a huge deal. That's one of the subtextual stories, I guess, of why we've talked about the positions that are open that are, is because Idaho is able to maintain continuity in the offensive line room and maintain continuity at quarterback, which are two huge deals, and those two facts themselves are going to help set up our new running backs, to be contributors right away.
Okay, up next is Jermel Green, 6'5", 6'4". This is not right. 6'4" DB out of California. This is one that Deku said, like if he puts it all together, this kid can be playing at the next level. By next level, I mean NFL. They talked about him potentially playing right away just because of we always had like the Caleb Ricks coming in play right away, and this kid I believe is bigger than Ricks. But this kid is as you'll kind of hopefully see on the screen here in a second, dude's big, and like for someone to get a DB that size to come to Idaho is pretty nice. And this probably won't be seeing people. Hopefully, don't see a lot of passes thrown his way just because he's going to be able to cover these wide receivers in the Big Sky.
Yeah, and like I said, 6'4", 175. Size is something that Idaho didn't have a ton of in the DB room. Yeah, not again, like we're saying with every guy, there's only so many guys we're willing to even intimate at crowning at this point. But I wouldn't be shocked at all if we see at least one true freshman DB playing quite regularly. Ross Warren saying Coach Deku was absolutely the most dynamic presenter at signing day. He does not know who is going to start, but is damn confident in these new CBs.
Oh yeah, I was super amped just to hear him talk during the signing day today. I am excited to see what he can do with this crop of DBs they have this year. Next up is another transferred DB out of from Tulane, Landon Hammond, 6'1", 161. I believe Ross and Jason, if you want to correct me on this was the one that they were a little little, I'll say little hesitant on the weight, but a little. There, Dakud was like you said, like Ross said in the comments. Excited does not. He was confident in Landon being able to come in. If he can put it all together, he believes he can be a baller for Idaho. Not like he didn't lack confidence, but just kind of like some players, you gotta be able to put it all together. Like Ross said, yep, it was Landon when he came in a little underweight, but with Coach Cooper and the strength and conditioning staff should hopefully be able to get him up to playing weight come fall, come summer, spring and fall ball. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Said, like,
Hammond did not
needs a little
play.
bit of coaching up.
Yeah, he did not play at Tulane. So this is another guy who, I mean, just is not that different than a freshman signee. I mean, he'll be listed as a freshman. He's a transfer, but he didn't play last year, so that's a redshirt year. Yeah, man, keep going.
Oh yeah. Next one up is JUCO tight end Jaden Homuth. I believe we talked about him before on the show, but just kind of for those that don't know, is a big kind of receiving tight end, kind of Deion Watson-esque, if you guys remember when he played Idaho 10 years ago now. He's did take a visit, kind of just a quick thing for kind of just a note. He did take a visit. He did play. He committed to Idaho. Then got a offer from Syracuse pretty late in the recruiting process, and then did take his visit to Syracuse. But even after that visit, he was like, "Coaches, I'm still committed to Idaho, and I'm going to stay. I'm going to be a Vandal." And now he's here now and ready to go. Ready to get ready to go in this fall. Get this spring for spring ball.
Yeah, 6'7", 230. He's a big target. Now, Idaho has not been astoundingly productive out of the tight end position the last few years, but Homuth was one of the top pass catchers as a JUCO tight end last season. He's classifying as a redshirt sophomore. It was unclear initially when Homuth was signed what class he would be, qualifying as, but because he played some snaps previously and also had his time in junior college. But yeah, dude, highly rated, big pass catching tight end. Getting production out of that room is something we've all been hoping to have for a while. Jason Mayer, his huddle had him running through people.
He's one that I'm excited about. But this next one is offensive lineman. I am really, really excited about. I try not to get myself too excited, but after hearing Ensley talk about Omar Kaba out of Arizona, out of Gilbert, Arizona, I am so excited about him. I am. What else realized? I realized I forgot to mention that, Jason. Another thing kind of mentioned at the Sunday event today, Jake Cox, a quality control guy for Idaho. He's still on staff. I know Dallas is super excited about that, to have Cox still on staff and being able to mention Cox all the time. Jump back to Omar here because I am excited about him. It was a Coach Ensley led with Omar is a bit of a prick, but it's not meant in a bad way. Like, it's meant in a mean way, like Jason Mayer saying in the comments here. When he was on his official visit, he said, I just want to see, he said, I want to watch the D-line practice. And coaches were like, okay, why do you want to do that? And he said, I just want to see who I'm going to be beating up next fall when watching the D-lineman practice. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, I love an offensive lineman like that. And I am excited to have a guy like offensive lineman with a bit of an attitude, not in a bad way, kind of reminds me of, I don't like penciling people in, but kind of like the Nate as a party with that kind of attitude, but in a good way where it's just, you want offensive line with a little bit of a mean streak, little bit of an attitude talking to them.
Yeah, man, co-signed. Idaho has another pretty damn highly rated O-line signee that I'm sure you're going to be getting to in a second. But We know in the Big Sky that look, sometimes you sign a freshman O lineman, you don't see them for a while, but again, it's not that different from what we're talking about defensively. Uh, will you win the Big Sky with with a line of predominantly freshman sophomore linemen? No, you will not. Can you do very well in the Big Sky with one or two young guys who become either important depth pieces or who do get starting type role in the Big Sky? Yes, you can. And so we know Nate Asparty graduated. There are going to be some snaps that someone is going to have to take, and Omar Kaba, maybe he's the one.
Yeah, this next one we're going to talk about is
this is the guy I was talking about as the other highly rated O-line signee.
Yeah, Kingston Kirchhoff out of Curtis High School in Washington. I believe is the highest rated recruit on 24/7.
Yeah, he is.
Idaho has signed. This dude had offers from, I believe, some Big 12, Big 10, whatever 12 conference it's called now. Again, chose to come to Idaho just due to the relationship he had with coaches. This is one where I would not be surprised if Coach Ford said, "Hey, Kingston Kirchhoff's going to be starting." I would not be surprised at all whatsoever. The dude plays. Kingston plays. I believe he's playing both offense, defense, and plays basketball as well. He might play some spring sport. I don't know, but dude is an athlete playing both ways, and Iowa's coming in to play offensive line. And just, as you're watching on this first tape, this dude just moved down the field and is able to be a road grader. And I'm excited to see Coach Inslee get his hands on him and being able just to, like he's doing here, pushing people over, just being a mauler on that offensive line. That's what you need here.
I mean, Kaba's listed at 6'4", 290. Kingston Kirchhoff listed at 6'6", 265. Kirchhoff, who has been referenced as kind of like the jewel of this class early, talking back in December of Idaho. I believe Coach Ford referenced Idaho sort of having no business snagging a guy like Kirchhoff. But look, there's quite a few O linemen in this signing signing class. So the hope that I'd have is one of those guys at least or one or two of those guys are able to contribute right away. The rest can kind of simmer and get better. I say that because in addition to this is just how it works in the FCS. You do need to develop your line over time with high school signees, and we've just seen this at Idaho. The FBS transfers down into the Big Sky often don't actually play that much. Idaho had 3 guys who transferred in from Power 5 schools in 2025, plus a dude from WSU. None of those guys started, and not even all of those guys played. So getting young O linemen in who are ready to go is a big deal. And then also just continuing to develop that O line. It's kind of like we talk about South Dakota State, talk about North Dakota State, talk about Montana State. Those are lines that they develop over time with good strength and conditioning, and then just getting people to buy into the program. Ross Moore in the comments section, Coach Ensley was super generous with his time. Talked O line play with me for like half hour. Awesome guy who's super excited about the additions.
Yeah. Next up, I believe, is Tui Marco. I believe if I'm getting this right. Another one out of Lakes High School. Coming in as a linebacker, I believe, for Idaho. Just another kind of a guy they kind of expect to come in and maybe play right away, maybe get some redshirting, but another one of those kind of, I believe, had some FBS offers, but chose to come to Idaho. And just another hopefully good contributor we'll see maybe play in next year or two as at Idaho.
Yeah, I mean, Mariko's about the same, almost identically sized to the guy we talked about earlier, Giovanni Burks. So I don't have a ton to add here other than happy to have the guys of Vandal. And I just, each position group is probably on the defensive side of the ball is probably going to have at least one freshman who's playing right away. So just names to pay attention to when we get towards the start of the season.
Yeah. Next up was believe his full name is Surprise Blitz McCarty. Is his legal name?
Yeah, he's listed as Surprise on the official roster, but every time Shoemaker's talked about him, he uses the name Blitz.
Yeah, I believe his full legal name is Surprise Blitz McCarty, but just either way, it's he is, as you'll see in his highlight tape right now, He is a lefty quarterback, a little different. Like Coach Shoemaker did mention at the show, didn't mention in a bad way, but he's a lefty. It's gonna be a little different for him with the schemes and stuff. But overall, another guy that has a good arm strength and coming into, I believe Coach said he's also on campus too. So getting to learn him, getting to be able to see him compete this spring for backup spot, and just yeah, his if you didn't catch by his name, his dad is a football coach, and he is that's how he got the name. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, he's a guy we hope to not see this year, but you are right. How the backup quarterback situation shakes out is one of the not like one of the front center stories of Idaho coming into the upcoming
It's one to
season, but
watch.
it is one to watch.
So you kind of take who gets that number 2 spot. Next one up is oh gosh, I texted it somewhere. I'm missing my notes. Brian, help me out here. I think I found it. Nui. It's Nui. Nui's the one that's here early. Nui Myers is a kid out of Hawaii High School. His team, I believe coaches mentioned his team did play they did not play. I think they played some Hawaii high schools, but they played a lot of the travel school, a lot of the big schools. So he's traveling a lot. He's played Mater Day, Bishop Gorman for those that know high school football. He's one that like might come in and play right away, but just kind of one to kind of just another. He's like Jason saying is an athlete and just is gonna another player that honestly we're all excited to have here at Idaho, and hopefully he has a nice successful career here.
Yeah, he's going to need to put on some weight if he's going to be playing early. He's listed at he's 6'3", 220 right now.
Mm-hmm. Next is one that like I'm kind of I got the stats mixed up. It was Ferrari. I'm looking at this now. Ferrari Miller was the one that had the 1,000 yards rushing, 400 yards receiving. But he is I was watching his tape, and man, I am excited to have him get a nice kind of get a player like him here at Idaho. He's I'm not bigger back, but just another guy that can come in and play. He's do it all guy, can catch, run the ball. I'm excited to see him in the Shoemaker offense. He is one that I'm kind of trying to temper my expectations a little bit, but he is one that like you see the tape and I'm like, okay, I want to see him in the Shoemaker offense and see what Shoe can do with him.
Well, he's listed, he's 5'10", 220, so just a few pounds ahead of Kenny Golston weight-wise. As a reference point, Hayden Kinchlow, essentially fullback, he's listed at 235, so both Golston and Miller not that far off the weight of Kinchlow. Look, both Miller is another guy who just brain dead. If he ends up being the bell cow back, not floored. If Golston ends up being the bell cow back, not floored. If those two end up splitting about 50-50, not going to be floored. But it's a guy who the coaches have been really high on. So just a guy to have, as spring ball comes rolling around, just a guy to see like how the running back room shakes out is one of the big offensive stories. This is a guy who I think it's worth remembering the name. He's a junior from junior college. He's played college football before. He's a guy who was absolutely not brought in to not compete for a starting spot.
Oh yeah. Next is Luca Moore played at Anacortes High School. If that high school sounds familiar, that is now the I already forgot his name. Shows how much I pay attention to this stuff. Safety out of Anacortes High School. So he's one that he's an athlete, kind of play all around the field. He was kind of all around, get to his top speed, and is an all around football player. He's playing on these tapes. You'll see some offense, defense, and some special teams. Kick returner there. You can fly and just able to go around and fly around and hit people on the field and make plays. Hopefully, he doesn't have to do too many tackling just because defense is getting beat. But he's another one to another good athlete Idaho got this year out of that Anacortes program they have up there.
Yeah, and he listed at safety. We haven't talked about safeties much, but essentially almost every contributing safety from last year is gone.
Yeah. Next is I believe another is a Nash O'Kelly out of Timberline High School in Southern Idaho. Brian, you have to help me with this. I believe so. I think Timberline Southern Idaho. Somebody wants to correct me on this.
Yeah,
Producing in public,
Timberlines in the
as for
south,
you.
Timberlines in the south, Timber Lakes in the north.
Okay, I got that mixed. I was thinking that I get that mixed up. Nash, I believe, is the other. I believe his parents. I think it's one of his family members went to Idaho. Uh, but he's another one that is gonna come in and kind of always good to get. He's one of the five or six people that got out of the state of Idaho this year. Excited to get another Idaho prospect in here and just come in and can hopefully contribute in a year or two once he's developed. Once he gets graded to that Idaho speed and Idaho, I mean not Idaho speed, the college level and college strength.
Brad Smith, Idaho, making sure we know Timberlines in Boise. Thank you, Brad, part of our crack research team.
Anything else to add, Brian?
No, man. I mean, we always know we want at least some Idaho kids. Big sky schools generally do try to get home state kids. It's the hope is sometimes the in-state kids are guys who might stay for a little bit longer, but at the same time, look, we've seen at Idaho, some of the home state kids have been some very good contributors. So, it's part of having trying to kind of own, let's say, the culture of Idaho high school football. And then at the same time, look, obviously they're in state. It's a good story for everyone.
Oh yeah. Next up is Carter Paul, 6'7", 285-pound lineman. When I saw his size, I am floored. He is a big boy. Just basically a big boy that can move on this offensive line. And you're going to need players like that. If like how Coach Ford Shoemaker say they want to do run the ball, you're going to need those big guys blocking for Ferrari, for Kenny, for DeMonte. There's a lot to like. Hopefully Ensley gets him gets to keep him and he can stay and play be part of the line that brings him in. But he is a big dude that is going to hopefully be a starter one day here for Idaho.
Yeah, there's not a ton of 300-pound dudes in the Idaho O-line. And look, we all know, just being big doesn't make you, great. But it's also no one's ever hurt by having good size on the O-line. And that at that size, as a freshman, it isn't, that normal for Idaho to have guys who right when they show up, they don't need to get any bigger. Like he's, pretty close to ready. And what you're more concerned about is, let's say, conditioning. Ross Warren saying Paul is a massive mauler. Love it.
The other thing to kind of mention that Coach Ensley did mention is the dude is flexible for being 6'7". Not a lot of guys that big can sometimes are not that flexible, but he was able to move and be flexible and move around he's not like such a big stiff guy. Next up is Micah Roberson, DB from Central Washington, formerly of Grand Capacity. I believe teammates of Joshua Wood and Joshua Wood and Damian Superhouse, I believe. He was a all-conference DB. This is what you're seeing on screen now for those that are watching. This is his high school tape. He was a Lone Star Conference D2 level all-conference DB as a freshman. Kid can make plays. They did mention seeing him at punt returner and some other playing special teams as well, but kid can come in and play. Dakud seemed to really mention that he might play a little. He's going to probably play a little early just because some college level experience. I think I should mention, just for those that don't know, Lone Star Conference at D2 level is pretty good. Is a pretty good conference. It is spread out all across the country from Central Washington to all south of Texas. So he's a dude that he's a one to watch out for, but obviously keep a kind of hold your water a little bit just because it's spring ball. We haven't seen anybody play yet. It's all just talk right now. Getting people excited.
It's just talk, but I mean, you make all conference playing at Central Washington. You're not shocked if that guy becomes a starter in the Big Sky. Central Washington is, it's obviously, hey, D2, we all know that, but they're the type of team that if a lower Big Sky school happened to play Central Washington, you'd at least think for a second before picking against Central. So happy to have Micah here, and again, with how many open spots are defensively. We know some freshmen are going to play, but we also know it can't only be freshmen playing. If Idaho defensively is going to be able to, hang around with the Montana States of the FCS, because Idaho absolutely has their eyes on the playoffs next year. There's a lot that needs to change to get there, of course, but having guys who can start, who having guys with experience who can contribute right away is a big deal. Don't know for a fact that will be Roberson, but wouldn't be shocked if it is.
Yeah. Next up is Ethan Rodriguez out of I forget the school name, but just what you're going to see in his tape is you're going to see some running back tape, and he is a 6'4" running back playing at, I believe it's a 2A school out of kind of near the Olympia area. This dude watch his tape. He is an athlete, and I believe it was Fendel. I can't remember exactly who it was, but I believe he's listed as a tight end for Idaho. He is one that, just off the tape and hype alone, they did what they do. Coaches do their job. They sold the players that they got, and they'd have to stay long for these players. His school was beating up teams so much he was able to leave at halftime and see what he needed to see. Kind of just, if you remember seeing this kid, Ethan's, I wanted to kind of mention the story that you'll may hear tomorrow, Brian. Ethan is a big Batman fan, and so he brought a Batman mask with him to wear during his during the picture taking stuff they do during official visits, and kind of cool, as they said, kind of just to see he's able to be who he is with the coaching staff and not have to try and be someone he's not, and definitely didn't throw shade at a player from a school in Montana at all. But yeah, it was cool to see he wanted to honor that. He said, "Hey, I'm going to do a visit with this school in Montana," and didn't bring the mask with him. And so, yeah, let you guess which school that is, Brian. Yeah. Other than that, just a good all around guy. The next up is going to be Land. Oh gosh,
Hey, Martin, can you say that name again?
Landon Shrum. I believe it's linebacker out of Carlsbad, California. He's a 6'2", he's a 6'2" linebacker. Not one you probably maybe want to see right away, but just another athlete to get in, another player they can think to go. After that, just kind of another all-around, another good guy, another good athlete, another kind of guy that maybe we'll see in a year or two once they get in the system and develop.
All right, keep going, man.
Next up, sorry, not spaced up there. Next up is Tyrone Stewart, plays his most recent college ball at North Texas. Before that, North Carolina, and before that, East Mississippi Community College. Didn't play much at North Texas, but at North Carolina, he did play. He started one game, had 8 tackles, 1 assist, 1 tackle for loss, and kind of just another depth piece. But just another player that another DB with some experience, and hopefully you expect players like him to come in and contribute right away as a freshman, as a player, to kind of let the young players develop and not have to throw players into the fire.
Yeah, Stewart is a senior, so you don't bring in FBS transfer seniors to do anything other than compete to start.
But first, I think we have a visitor on the line, Brian. Dallas, is that you, I hear?
If you are looking for a great all-inclusive week-long vacation, don't look past your backyard. Hughes River Expeditions has been vandal-owned and operated since 1976 and are ready to take you on the vacation of a lifetime. Enjoy a multi-day trip down the Middle Fork of the Salmon, the main Salmon River of No Return, the Salmon River Canyons, or the Selway, and you can check out special trips like one to see the Perseid meteor shower. Camp on pristine beaches, run amazing whitewater, hike scenic trails, spot wildlife, soak in beautiful natural hot springs, and fish some of the most remote stretches of river in the entire United States. Just bring your clothes and let HRE handle the rest. Grab a paddle, catch dinner, and ride the bull all throughout the Gem State. Call them now at 406-540-4450 or check them out at hughesriver.com.
All right, now thanks Ryan for not Brian. Thanks Dallas for joining us here for that 50-second ad read. What was that? Sorry about that. Ocean. Next up is Ocean Tofu. Played at Bishop Gorman High School. If you know anything about Bishop Gorman, they are a perennial powerhouse school out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Playing teams across the country from time to time. I realized I got to put that full screen. D lineman, one that like he's a disruptor in the backfield, and you're going to want players like that to come in and play. Hopefully, I have to be able to disrupt them and get our DBs to have turnovers, which Coach Ford noted in that signing day event. Didn't have a lot of those this year, and hopes to change that this year with some of the players they brought in.
Yeah, I mean, not a ton to add. At 265, he's got size. Obviously, we have to see if he's ready to go. But referenced him compared to Nui Myers, both recruited as linemen. Ocean's got a good 45 pounds on Nui. So, hey, fingers crossed that, again, all these guys, what we're hoping for is who can be contributors relatively soon first. And then we'll worry about them staying for a long time after they're contributing. So glad to have the dude here. Martin, you are muted.
Tech support.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Next up is Luke Teskey. Luke is not here on campus right now. He is finishing up his, I want to say, undergrad. He's getting a biomedical degree and he'll be joining in the summer, but his kid out of New Westminster, British Columbia, which I believe is a suburb of Seattle, suburb of Vancouver, BC. Plays ball most recently at New Hampshire. Kind of just didn't play much. Played a little bit, not a starter, but just kind of a guy that you're gonna want. A guy that kind of just has some experience. You're not just gonna throw in freshmen to come in and play right away.
Yeah, I mean he's a guy who's a transfer out of New Hampshire's FCS. Fingers, again, we don't know what these guys are going to look like until they're actually here. But having that mix of talented freshmen and maybe upperclassmen who feel like they have something to prove is probably the ratio that we're looking at. Jason Mayer saying new D-line coach said it's not a sack without a turnover.
Mm-hmm. Who's up next? I'm trying to figure something out now. Next up, this one was kind of just dropped in kind of casually. This one is I don't know much about it. Didn't say anything. I'm gonna assume it's a walk on just based off of didn't get a graphic yet that they posted about is Nathan Twett out of Kendrick High School. 6'3" DV. Again, like I said, it's always good to get local players and get someone local like this is good to see. Hopefully bring some more fans from Kendrick to come out and watch him play in a couple years.
I co-sign and have nothing to add.
I'm blanking. I'm kind of scrolling through my notes. Next up is I think Dallas's favorite player, Jackson Wang. This dude is a physical guy. He is one that kind of he's not afraid. He is he was 6'2", like 225, 220 or something like that. He is a physical wide receiver. Not one that I don't think Idaho has had recently, probably a little bit, Brian, unless you can think of somebody. As Coach Papow said, not afraid of contact, looks like a linebacker. And he said, like, if you meet him, be prepared. Brace yourself for his handshake because he's a physical guy. It's just hopefully he'll be catching passes from Wood and being able to hang on to them.
The name I think of is Catrell Haywood. As far as like a big physical
comparison,
wide out, where just looking at the guy stepping off the bus, you wouldn't be shocked if maybe he wasn't a receiver based off his physicality. You're referencing Dallas's favorite player because look, this is nothing but good news. We have quality control Cox And also, look, we've got Joshua Wood throwing to Jackson Wang for our Wood Wang connection. It doesn't really get much better than that. But again, we need better pass catchers. That's it. Is he going to be a better one? Obviously, we're going to see, man. But there's reason to believe, based off looking at where he's coming from, based off production, just based off his physicality, that he might be something that Idaho is missing. I'm not saying that this is exactly why he was brought here, but just to double down as far as like playmakers that Idaho needs. We also need guys who can be kick or punt returners better than Idaho had last year, because Idaho legitimately had probably like the worst kick punt return game I've ever seen of any team in the Big Sky at all. So. Is Wang the answer there? I don't even know if he's recruited for that. I'm just bringing it up. It's not shocking to have a wideout be involved in that role. But like Ross Warren says, we all want Wang to catch footballs, but his blocking in the run game could be very impactful. Physicality is absolutely there.
Oh yeah. Next up is a name I don't remember him playing much at his former schools, but just another one that his name's gonna throw you off. But his RB Wilson, D lineman from Texas Southern University, another transfer previously of Montana, 6'4", 250. He's another experienced guy, knows the Big Sky from his time at Montana. Hopefully he's one of those guys you can throw in and contribute, can come in and contribute just a little bit, just based off and not him to throw in freshmen. And good to have some experience in the D line to kind of bring in.
Yeah, and it's always nice to be able to pick off, a guy from Montana, similar to how Montana picked off Diesel Wilkinson last year. So fingers crossed that the favor is this pickoff favors us more than Wilkinson did last year at Montana, where he played. It got starters reps. But this is, again, there's the line. There are snaps on the D line to be earned. And fingers crossed, this is the dude we see well into December.
Yeah. Next up is the one that I believe was Ross talking about earlier, is Jace Winchester. He's I believe he's going to be a center at Idaho. I believe he played tackle at full screen this. Played tackle, I believe, at his high school tape, but he's going to be playing center at Idaho, and Idaho was able to flip him from Colorado State after their firing of their previous head coach before Jim Moore came in. Didn't quite have the size that you want, but like he is a coach, and he was like, if he can he was another kind of one of those road graders that can come in, that was able to push people around and bully them and just move people around.
Yeah, listed at 290. So yeah, I mean, all the freshman O-line guys, we actually have some pretty good size relative to the new guys coming in. And again, if we're able to flip a guy from Colorado State to Idaho, we know the gap between the Mountain West / Pac-12 and the Big Sky is not what it once was, but you will call that nothing but a W if we're able to flip a guy like that. So glad to have Chase over here, and I'm sure we will find gun puns to use if we're seeing him play regularly.
Oh boy. Next up is Dom. Next up is our final high school recruit that we're going to talk about. Next recruit we're going to talk about today is Dom Wolfus out of Bishop Kelly, I believe it is. Yeah, Bishop Kelly in this tape. Another wide receiver another Idaho product. Good to always get those guys. Hopefully one that's going to come in and play, not come in and play right away, but just another athlete, another pass catcher to have in this offense, and hopefully good to see him. He's making plays. He's obviously it's highlight tape. You're going to see him catching everything, but good to get another playmaker.
And that is our class as of now. We know spring ball is it's starting. What's that? March 13th is spring ball starting, Martin?
I had it written down somewhere. It is starting May 30th. Is spring ball starting. March 30th.
Sorry, March 30th.
Spring ball starting.
Starts.
And then for spring game is on May 1st.
And curious what the format for that's going to be now that we don't have 2 portal windows. But we know there's still guys in the portal to be had. So that doesn't mean we will have no recruitment updates between now and later on. But look, Idaho's pretty much got their roster. They have their coaching staff set. These are the guys we're going to be relying on in 2026 to hopefully turn things around. my takeaway here is I just think spring ball is going to be super very interesting to follow, to see which guys are emerging as potential starters. But we'll get there when we get there. We're an hour and 4 minutes. We need to fly through basketball stuff because I got to call it a day. Women's, the week that was for the Idaho women. Vandals go 2-0 with wins over Northern Colorado 62-55, and then an ass kicking of Northern Arizona. Both these games were in Moscow. 90.
No. North Colorado was in Greeley.
My bad. I was in Greeley. Yeah, you're right. That was the scheduling kink, you might say. Murdered Northern Arizona at home 94-71. Could have easily won that game by 40 points. The Northern Colorado game, well, I mean, look,
you'd expect should have been like that, but I mean, it was a Big Sky game of the reason, and it played like the Big Sky game of the season that they picked it as.
Yeah, and I mean, Kira Gardner Kira Gardner was a little bit down that game. I mean, Hope Hasman, Kira Gardner combined that game to go 7 of 21. Those are Idaho's top 2 scorers, and pretty much when Idaho has closer games, it has tracked that Kira and Hope have. That's usually when those two at the same time have rougher games. But that's pretty much it. Deborah Dos Santos with 7 points off the bench in 21 minutes, and Lorena Barbosa 15 points and in 16 minutes, 4 boards as well. Hope Hasman also 15 points on 5 of 11 shooting. NAU said Idaho could have won this game by 40, man.
Yeah.
Led wire to wire.
It felt like this the perfect game for them to just to get the kind of once they get right, but just kind of have that kind of just that good offensive game before what's coming up next. And they fixed, I wouldn't say fixed issues are word to use, but they just played a more complete game. We're making most shots.
Yeah.
Everybody stayed healthy, and nobody had any stupid fouls. It was a pretty complete game for the most part for Idaho. They didn't make 3 in the first quarter, but still it never really felt like Northern Arizona was in this game, and just felt like Idaho was in control from wire to wire this one.
Yeah, it felt that way because NAU was never in this game. Deborah Dos Santos off the bench, 18 points in 15 minutes on 8 of 11 shooting. Hope Hasman, 20 points, going 7 to 12 from the field. Kira Gardner adding 13, and then look, Lorena Barbosa with 15, and Ana Pinheiro with 14. And hey, that's that's how you beat the hell out of a team like NAU. You have I just went over like 5 players scoring in double figures, including 1 with 20 and 1 with 18. So that was the week that was for the women. The Idaho women are a half game out of first place behind Montana State, which is this trip is Montana State and Montana. The women are at home, men are on the road. Thursday, Idaho hosting Montana State, looking for revenge. The Bobcats beat the hell out of Idaho in the initial matchup. It was a 30-plus point game. But quite a bit has changed. Idaho sits at 8-1 in ICCU this year, and the Vandals women are riding a 6-game winning streak. So phase 1, the game just has to be more competitive. If you guys recall, Kira Gardner and Hope Hasman combined for their single worst game of the year against Montana State. So look, Idaho's going to have to get better production out of the guards. But if you can get there this Thursday, absolutely get there, guys. The women need your help, need your support. And
if you're at the sign day event it's in tomorrow in Coeur d'Alene, have the game on your phone and watch the game. Watch it while you're listening to the coaches talk about the recruits. Watch this. They're fun. They need the support. Watch them.
Yeah. Sorry, we just had to fly through basketball stuff, guys, because we're already running late. But yeah, on Saturday, the Idaho women will be hosting the Montana Lady Grizz. Look, that game still obviously is matters because every game matters for Idaho while they're battling it out for first or second in the conference. They've got a 1.5 game lead over Northern Colorado, having played 1 fewer conference game. So Idaho pick up in that extra game. If Idaho picks up a W, that pushes that to full 2-game lead. It really does look like the top 2 in the conference will be Montana State and Idaho, with UNC and Idaho State kind of battling it out for 3 and 4. Martin, before shifting over to the men real quick, anything you want to add?
I got nothing else to add, man. It's exciting. It's Fun times for the women's
Yeah.
basketball team. Brian, what you got about the men now?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Montana State women lead the Big Sky in NCAA net ranking. They're sitting at number 60. Idaho is number 2, sitting at 111. On the men's side, still no, man, this was a weird week for the men because like the Vandals split. They lose at Northern Colorado 91-83, then beat the hell out of Northern Arizona 79-62. Getting beat by Northern Colorado on the road, that felt like a gut punch, but actually that Thursday, every higher ranked Big Sky team lost their game. That includes Montana State, who went 0-2 in their last road trip. That includes Portland State. So going 1-1 on this road trip didn't hurt Idaho as much as you might. I think it maybe could for the eventual postseason rankings, but the Vandals are going to have to pick up 2 wins at some point. It's tougher to do it on the road than at home, but if they're going to emerge out of that 4 or 5 spot ever, they're going to just have to win back-to-back games in the Big Sky, which they have. I mean, they've won back-to-back games, but they have not swept any home road series. So the big issue against Northern Colorado is Quinn Danker, former Vandal, just beat the hell out of Idaho, which was frustrating to say the least. Danker for Northern Colorado, 35 points, 10 assists, and 7 boards. Jackson Rasmussen had his best offensive game of the year for the Vandals, scoring 29 points on 8 of 17 from the field, picked up 6 rebounds as well. A big issue for the Vandals on this whole trip. Biko Johnson went 1 for 20 across the 2 games. And going into this trip, Biko was the leading scorer in conference play for the Vandals. So I feel like I don't need to enunciate this too much. If your leading scorer goes 1 for 20, it's hard to pick up a ton of wins. But still, Idaho they did pick up the win over Northern Arizona, also against UNC Jack. Colton Mitchell got back on track, 19 points on 6 of 13 from the field. He's had a bit of an up and down season, but it was much more up that game. Brody Robry also got ejected, slamming a guy to the ground. Did pick up 10 points too. Against Northern Arizona, I mean, this was a game Idaho was dominated the first half. Looked like they might do their shit the bed thing in the second half, but did not. Rasmussen only 2 points this time off of his season high 29 against UNC. But Isaiah Brickner, man, he was huge. I mean, look, Brickner has been big for Idaho off the bench this season as a whole. It's kind of funny watching him because you understand why he's not a starter, just because there are times where his judgment is a little bit, I'll call it questionable and just leave it at that. But Brickner was huge against Northern Arizona, 31 points on 12 of 16 shooting, picked up 8 rebounds as well. And then Jack Payne had what I think was his best offensive game as a Vandal, 15 points, going 7 of 11 from the field. And worth noting for Payne, this is just something I think that we're going to have to get used to. Payne has just not had his outside shot much of this season, but he did some damage inside. 6 of his 7 made field goals came inside the arc. It's Payne finding a way to contribute has been a little bit tough this year with recovering from injury, and it's just he just has a different role. He doesn't get the same amount of touches, so he has to the way he's going to score. It's just going to happen differently. Colton Mitchell 10 points and Brody Robry 10 points as well. Yeah, like I said, Biko Johnson went 0 of 8 this game, 1 of 12 against Northern Colorado. This week at Montana State and Montana, this is a trip that Idaho could go 0-2. They could also go 2-0. Montana State's lost 2 games in a row. The Grizz are eminently beatable, but still talented. If you're going to let Money Williams score 30, takeaway here is just same as it was last week. Idaho can. This is a team that I think could push for that 3rd spot, but like they just got to win 2 in a row. Might be a tall task on this road trip, but you absolutely have to pick up one. And we've just got to see the guard play in some of these bigger games. We just can't have Colton Mitchell and Biko Johnson trading off having rougher games in some of the bigger games of the season, which has kind of been a rhythm during conference play. Love to see those 2 guys contribute simultaneously. With the last added piece is Jackson Rasmussen looks like he is completely figured out for the most part how to contribute and be a scoring threat for the Vandals. When he is on, when he is decisive, he's to me the best offensive Vandal they have. Look at that 29 points against Northern Colorado. A lot of that coming inside the arc, but also off the dribble. So tune into the games, support the team, guys. Both the men's and women's teams are doing well. We haven't had two teams that have a real good shot of finishing above 500 together in 8-ish years. This is still like the best combined start to the season the men and women have had for a very long time. Get yourself to ICCU, support the women. Get yourself on ESPN Plus, support the men.
Oh yeah, Brian. It's going to be a fun week of basketball. But as always,
hell yeah, guys.
And
hey, we got to run, but hey, support the show, patreon.com/Chubbs Club. Less than a cup of coffee a month to be part of the single best place to chat Idaho sports online, bar none. It is not remotely close. So we'll see you guys there. And until next week, go Vandals.
Go Vandals.
Go Vandals.